Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother. The message that he sent to me reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So I have been working here in South Africa for a couple of years right now, and I have been working at this mortuary for a number of years. So I started working at this mortuary. This was after my boss, the one that I was working for at that time. He had told me that one of his friends was looking for someone who could work at his mortuary. So that boss of mine, he used to make these granite tombstones. So I then agreed because I saw that life was really hard, and that man, he had promised me a lot of money if I was going to work at his mortuary. And all over the years, the things that I have seen, they can make most people's skin to crawl. Death to me is now like a part of life, and I have learned to accept it, even though it is really scary to watch a family. When they bring the body of the deceased, they will be crying. And when they come to collect again the body of the deceased, they will be crying. But there is one thing that happened to me that I have never been able to shake off, something that I have never told anyone until now. So what happened with Anashi was that on that night, I was supposed to go to work on a night shift, but me and my wife earlier on, we had an argument. So at this mortuary where I am working, you need to be there by 5 p.m. even though your night duty will start at 6 p.m. So I then went to work, and I was really frustrated and stressed. But anyway, when I arrived, I then sat down and I started speaking with some of my colleagues, and when it was 6 p.m., then they left. The moment that I entered into the mortuary, into that place where we keep the bodies of the deceased, I could hear some sounds that were not like the sounds that I was used to, because there was this other big refrigerator unit, and the way that it was sounding and humming on that night, it was as if someone was starting a truck. I was alone, even though at the reception there was one who was working with me, preparing the bodies for the morning when the families would come to pay their respects. So most of the times you will be doing this job all alone, and I had always found a strange comfort when I am quiet and with my headphones on. That night we had received the body of an elderly woman. She had passed away in her sleep, and her family had requested that we prepare her for a viewing the very next day. I went about my work as usual, and I was washing and dressing the body, handling her with care and respect that she deserved. I mean, to me, this was like normal. I had done this over and over again until I saw her. I saw the spirit of this woman. And this was after I had just finished placing her into the casket, when I felt a chill that was running down my spine. And the moment that I placed her body into the coffin, it was as if the temperature in the room had dropped suddenly, and I could see, even when I would breathe in and out, I could actually see my breath in the air, and I felt the chills that I had never felt before. My whole body was like now freezing cold. The place, yes, I know it is always cold at all the times, but this one, I don't want to lie to you, it was very different on that night. This was something that I could not even explain, something that made the hair on the back of my neck to stand. I turned around. That was when I thought that I saw something, but I just thought that maybe it was my imagination, and I said maybe it was because of the stress that I had. And the next time around, when I turned again, I saw her. She was standing by the doorway, the same woman whose body I had just prepared. She looked exactly as she had in life. And when I looked at her face, that was when I saw that in the place where she was supposed to have her eyes, there was nothing there. And she kept on looking at me. That was when I froze. I could not move. I could not do anything. This woman then just vanished. When this woman disappeared, I looked into the coffin and I saw her. Brother Nashi, when I woke up from this nightmare, to my surprise, I was at the back of a police van and they were driving with me to the police station. So these two police officers, they said that they picked me up in the street as I was walking and they asked for my documentation, and I did not have any document at all. Then they had arrested me. And when we arrived at the police station, that was when I tried to tell them that I worked at a mortuary, but none of them even believed in my story. I then asked for them to call my boss because my passport, I told them, was at the mortuary. So my boss, after he had been called, he then drove and he picked up my passport and he then came with it to the police station. That was when I was released. But after I had been released, my boss, strange enough, he then gave me some water. He said that I was supposed to drink that water. So I tried to drink that water, but it was really salty. Anyway, I drank the water, and then he told me that he was supposed to take me to a traditional healer. So he took me to a traditional healer where I was told that there were some things that were supposed to be done because I had seen the spirit of the dead. Otherwise, she was going to continue following me. And after the rituals were done on my body, then my boss and the traditional healer, we then went to the grave of that woman. And this is what really scares me, is like, why did my boss go with me to the grave of that woman? And I just feel as if maybe my boss, he was also using me for some rituals of his. First of all, the water that he gave me, the way that it tasted, I have never tasted water that is as salty as the water that he gave to me. And he then returned me back to my place. From that day, Brother Nashi, I started to experience a lot of nightmares. From that time, I've never told anyone this story until now. So I just want your listeners to assist me, and when you post my story, please tell me, for I will be following through in the comment section. This spirit that I saw of the woman that I was bathing up her corpse and I saw her spirit, does it mean that the rituals that we did with my boss and that traditional healer, this woman, she will never follow me again? Or is this woman's spirit always going to be with me? I am scared that maybe if this woman will keep on following me, she will start to cause a lot of bad luck in my life. What kind of a ritual am I supposed to perform? Please assist me. I will be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Was saying that he works in a mortuary and he saw a ghost, and his boss then gave him some strange water to drink and to go with him to the graveyards. Yeah, strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.